Welcome to days 5, 6, and 7 of our Bowron Lake canoe trip. Day 5 started at 5:49 a.m. at campsite 34 on Lanezi Lake. An hour later, we stopped at campsite 36. It's a well-shaded site with a single tent pad with nice high views looking back down the lake. Interesting camp furniture surrounded the fire ring. Even though it was the 27th of July, we were bundled up because it was a chilly morning as we paddled down Lanezi Lake with a slight tailwind. Temperature was 7 degrees C when we started, and slowly rising during the morning. During the afternoon, the temperatures were in the high 20s. "45 minutes after leaving campsite 36, we stopped in to visit James and Janice at campsite 37. This is a lovely site with 2 tent pads.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
"55 minutes after leaving campsite 37 on Lanezi Lake, we arrived at campsite 37A on Sandy Lake. We camped here 2 years ago when the water levels were much lower. While the 3 campsites on Sandy Lake are all quite nice, this was the lake we skipped during this year's trip. We were not able to visit sites 38 and 39 last time since they were occupied, so we took advantage of their vacancies this year to stop by and check them out. Back on the Carboo River between Sandy and Unna lakes. A favorite spot for eagles. The bend approaching Babcock Creek. The 0.9 kilometer paddle from campsite 40 on Unna Lake to the start of the 2.4 kilometer round trip hike to Carboo Falls, returning with a 2.2 kilometer paddle via Bowron Lake. A nice 2-hour outing. Bowron Lake, more of a pond than a lake, has 2 nice group campsites overlooking the pond. Campsite 40 on Unna Lake has upwards of 13 tent pads along the sandy beach on the north shore of the lake. In anticipation of the site filling up like it did 2 years ago, we secured a prime site with James and Janice. We spent the afternoon relaxing, swimming, and James did some fishing. Campsite 40 remained quiet and did not fill up. A leisurely start to day 6 from Campsite 40 on Unna Lake. Paddling back upstream on the Carboo River. While this river is smooth, it is flowing and one should be cautious until they reach Babcock Creek. You don't want to capsize during this stretch of the trip. The 1.3-kilometer portage trail from Babcock Creek to Babcock Lake took 20 minutes, with 6 to 10 minutes at either end for unloading and loading the canoes.
What are you doing?
Day 6 was 15.6 kilometers of paddling and portaging over a 5-hour, 20-minute period. There were 3 portages. The first portage was 1.3 kilometers long with a climb of 21 meters, while the next 2 portages were 200 meters each. Skull Lake is more like 2 small ponds connected by a lovely marsh creek. However, load your canoe quickly as the bugs like to put in. During the last two portages, we used the technique of wheeling the canoe right into the water and then floating the canoe off the canoe cart. No need to lift heavy gear in and out of the canoe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, those are the only sites in the inspector's log.
We stopped at campsite 45 on Poundable Point. James and Janice decided that this is where they were going to spend the night. We pushed on as we had one less night planned on the route. We stopped at campsite 46 to check it out. A very nice site with views to the northwest and the views of the sites and shelters just across the lake on the point. After a quick paddle across the lake to the western side, we explored Group Campsite 47, the Spectacle Lake Cabin and Cook Shelter, and Campsite 48. It was a bit buggy for us, so we continued our paddle. Campsite 49 is on a bit of a bluff and had just enough breeze along with our thermocell to keep the bugs manageable, so we decided to stay there. We awoke to the not-so-distant sounds of logging just outside the park. Campsite 49's outhouse is a rather long walk from the tent site, so during my early morning visit, I made sure I had my headlamp and my bear spray with me. Lots of pleasant morning paddling without any portages. Two years ago, we stopped at campsite 51, but were unable to get out of the canoe due to low water levels and muck. With high water levels, we were able to check out this nice board tent pad site. What was that splash? We stopped at campsite 52, where we stayed 2 years ago. This is a nice 3-tent pad site set in some tall pine trees. A good spot if it's hot out. Campsites 53 and 54 are located next to each other with a total of 9 tent pads. While 54 may be easier to reach by going down and then up the Bowron River. These sites may be buggy, but overlook the marsh that may have wildlife viewing, but certainly has mountain views. Leaving campsites 53 and 54, we entered the Bowron River, which provides some additional current and side sloughs for viewing. No wildlife for us this time, but we had a very pleasant paddle indeed. Bowron River brings you out to Bowron Lake, which does have some motorboat traffic on it. We headed over to the northeastern shore for our last swim before crossing back to the western shore. And here we are approaching Becker's Landing, where we ended our canoe trip. We stayed the night at Becker's Lodge, which gave us time to clean and sort our gear, enjoying both a supper and a breakfast at the lodge before heading out the next day. I hope you've enjoyed viewing our July 2025 Bowron Lake canoe trip around the complete circuit. Thanks for watching.